Good day, everyone. Welcome to our quick demo of Feeds Table Pro. Let's dive into what Feeds Table Pro is all about. Feeds Table Pro is a stack that lets you take data from feeds and display it in an HTML table. While it's essentially an HTML table stack, its true power comes when you connect it to data sources via Weaverspace's Feeds stack. Feeds by Weaverspace allows you to connect to multiple data sources like CSV, RSS, JSON, or Total CMS right out of the box. With additional database packs, you can even connect to MySQL, MariaDB, SQLite, and SQL Server databases. I created Feeds Table Pro to provide a clean, customizable interface for displaying data. You can customize column names, manage data, and add simple sorting and searching capabilities. Let's start by setting up a simple HTML table. Drag Feeds Table Pro to your page. You'll see it comes with a header row cell. Here you can add headers like name, date, age, and favorite color. Now let's add some rows to the table. For now, we're not going to connect any feeds. Instead, we'll manually add a row and fill in some data. Once we preview it, you'll see we have a simple table with a header and one row of data. Let's duplicate the row and change some of the data to have a demo table. Here you can see we've added some table data manually. This data isn't connected to any feeds, it's been entered manually. While this approach isn't ideal for larger data sets, it's one use case for Feeds Table Pro. Feeds Table Pro also supports search and sort functionality. By enabling these features, you can sort by any data in the columns. Let's add the Feeds Table Pro search stack to the page. Right from the start, it's important to note that Feeds Table Pro assigns a table ID to each table, and the search stack also has a corresponding table ID. You can have multiple tables on a page, but each one must have a unique ID. A search field will only work with the table that shares its ID. For example, if the table ID is 7, the search stack should also have an ID of 7. Now let's preview the data. Now we have a search feature. What's great about it is that you can enter multiple search queries and it searches instantly. For example, if you search Joshua, the results appear immediately. If you then search for July, it filters the entries to show only those from July. You can even search John to narrow it down further. You can sort by name. And Feeds Table Pro also supports sorting by date. It automatically detects date fields and arranges them in calendar order. And of course, you can arrange by numbers as well. If you arrange the color column, it'll be back to alphabetical. Now let's load some dynamic data by adding a feed stack. We will then add a row into the feed stack drop zone area. I am just going to steal this CSV data source with some demo data in it ready to use. Then let's remove these headers and add the headers from the CSV header row in the demo data. Next, we need to add 6 cells. The feeds macros use double curly braces around the column ID like this. We've set up the headers and defined the macros. If you've used feeds before, this will be familiar. These macros will connect the data from the database into this row. Now let's take a look at our data. Perfect. As you can see, we now have a table populated with data. We can sort by dates, salary, email, country, age, and name. Currently, we can't sort the data by last name, only by first name. However, with the power of Feeds and Feeds Table Pro, we can make some changes to enable that. We'll explore that shortly. The search function is excellent. For example, if you want to search by age, you can type in 37 to see all the 37-year-olds. If you search by country like UK, it will display relevant entries. Note that it also searches within other data points, like 2022, and it will filter that out from the date column. Even after filtering your data through a search, you can still sort the remaining rows by the data that's left. To bring back the data, simply clear the search field or reload the page. Now let's look at formatting the data. We want to format currency and split the first and last names into separate columns. Using the power of Twig and Feeds, we can customize how this data is displayed in Feeds Table Pro. First, we'll create a second header cell so that we have separate columns for first name and last name. Now I'm going to copy a pre-made Twig statement to speed up the process. This statement takes the data from the name column and splits it into separate first name and last name columns. Next, we'll update the macro in the first row cell to first name, then duplicate this cell to create a last name cell. When we preview the table, you'll see that the first name and last name have been split from the original data. In the database, it's still a single field, but with Feeds and Feeds Table Pro, we've separated them into individual columns. Now you can sort by both last name and first name, making this a powerful way to display and organize your data. Next, let's format the salary. I'll use a pre-made macro from another screen. This macro adds a $sign before the salary value and then formats the number as currency using Twig. Let's see how that looks now. Originally, the table contained raw numeric data, but with Twig, we've formatted it directly within the table. This shows how we can manipulate data outside of the database, which is a major advantage of using Feeds. The beauty of Feeds Table Pro is that it can still sort and search this formatted data. For example, you can search for a specific amount like $50,000 or filter data by years, such as 2021, 2022, 2023, or 2024. Now let's explore some additional features available to you. As we review the table, we notice that the first name and last name columns have more space than needed. To optimize this, we can adjust the column widths. Here's how we do it. We'll add a column width setting. Since we're only adjusting the first name and last name columns, we only need to modify the first two columns. We'll change the width from auto to a specific value. Let's start with 150 pixels. After previewing, we can fine-tune it. If 100 pixels is too small, we'll try 110 pixels, which is almost perfect. We'll continue adjusting until it looks just right. Once the first name column is set, we'll do the same for the last name column, setting it to 115 pixels. Now that we've set the width for the last name column, let's consider making the date column narrower as well. The date is in column 7, so we need to adjust that specific column while leaving the others set to auto. We'll start by setting the width to 200 pixels, but that's too wide, so we'll try 100 pixels. That's a bit too small, so let's adjust it to 120 pixels. Perfect. 120 looks just right. If we set the preview window to manual adjustment and start collapsing the table, you'll notice that the data begins to line break, which disrupts our rows. We can prevent this by setting a minimum width for the table. For example, around 877 pixels is where the table starts to break, so we'll set the minimum width to 870 pixels. After applying this setting in Feeds Table Pro, the table maintains its structure and doesn't break, even when the window is resized. What's really cool is that the data becomes scrollable within the table itself. If you scroll down, you'll see a scroll bar, but the search bar at the top remains unaffected. You're only scrolling within the table. This feature ensures that your data and table layout look good on smaller devices. It also means you can still use the search and filter functions effectively on mobile devices. If you're a Foundation 6 user, you have the ability to stylize your table using table styles. To do this, we'll apply a parent class to the container, which we'll call styles. From here, we can use the swatch to adjust everything from the table header and body settings to text size and more. For instance, if you want to make the text smaller, you can easily do that. You can also adjust the header text size or change the text weight to bold. This flexibility allows you to create smaller tables with smaller text if needed. Additionally, you can fully customize the table's background and other style elements. While my example may be a bit extreme, it demonstrates the range of customization options available. Overall, Feeds Table Pro is a powerful stack that gives you extensive control over how you format and present your data. There are also alignment settings for header rows, body rows, header cells, and row cells. Use these settings as needed to create beautifully customized tables for your web projects. With these simple yet powerful features, Feeds Table Pro, combined with the power of Feeds, enables you to display, sort, and search your database data quickly, cleanly, and efficiently. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you'll consider picking up Feeds Table Pro today to power your next database table.